Adam Liaw is a cook, TV presenter and author, best known as the winner of Masterchef Australia 2010. Adam, thanks for joining us today. Adam, you grew up in Malaysia. Could you share with us maybe some of your favourite Malaysian childhood memories?
I think most people's childhood memories, whether they're from Malaysia or not, tend to be about food. And of course, for me, it's, cooking with my family back at home, or going out and traveling around and eating hawker food, or trying to have every fried chicken on the way from here to Penang. Those kind of things. It's food has such a great sensory input for our memory, and it just tends to, you'll eat something and it'll take you back to where you were when you were a kid, and that's what I really love about it.
Do you have a specific memory that you remember from childhood days about Malaysian food?
There's a lot, almost too many, sitting up and watching TV with my uncles very late into the night when I should have been gone to bed already, and going out and getting Hokkien mee and wonton mee at 2 o'clock in the morning so that we could continue watching TV.
Okay, so with Malaysian food, it's fairly accessible. It's really easy with hawker food. Now, I'm absolutely hopeless at cooking. I sometimes stuff up 2-minute noodles. So what would you say to people like myself who have access to all this easy food in Malaysia? How would you encourage us to get in the kitchen more?
I think, cooking isn't just about preparing food at the end of it that you can eat. There's plenty of ways to find food, whether you like cooking or not. I look at cooking as being something that I do to relax. It's very therapeutic to get into the kitchen and produce something at the end of half an hour or an hour of just working quietly and slowly away. I think if you look at cooking as just the production of food, there's no real point in cooking. If you look at cooking as something that you can use as something to bring joy to your family, or something you can use to relax from the stresses of work, or something that you can use as an outlet of your creativity, those are all the things that really encourage me to cook. I don't get encouraged to cook when I'm hungry. I get encouraged to cook when I'm inspired.
Okay. Do you get annoyed when other people join you in the kitchen and meddle in the cooking process?
No, it's
you enjoy.
I think there was a study that showed that couples that cook together in the kitchen have much lower rates of divorce than couples that don't.
Okay,
and there's probably a number of reasons for that. I think if you're the kind of person that fights in the kitchen, you probably don't end up cooking together anyway. But it can be something that is it's a nice thing to do, particularly with kids as well. Kids love being in the kitchen, and stirring a bowl is all they need to do. They don't need to be chopping up everything.
Part of the process.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, since you've won MasterChef, you've gone on to write the cookbooks and have your own show. Have you found it difficult to merge the love of cooking, your passion, with the business side of the industry?
I'm very lucky in that respect, in that I don't work in a restaurant and cook the same dishes again and again, night after night. I get to be, I guess, a lot more creative with it by what goes into the cookbooks and what goes into the TV shows, and I try and be as involved as possible with choosing what the shows do and where they go. And I get to indulge myself a little bit there and go to places that interest me and cook things that interest me. So there's no end to discovery in food, so I always feel very lucky that I'm able to I guess, make a career out of discovering food for myself.
Well, previously you were a lawyer in
That's
your career. Right. Is there a way to merge law and food? Do you think so? Can you be a professional legal chef?
There may be, but I wouldn't want to be honest.
So you've left the legal part behind?
I have, but I did very much enjoy being a lawyer. People always see that there's a lot of lawyers that go on to do other things, whether they go on to be writers or musicians or artists.
But it's a big jump from law to the culinary world.
It is, I guess, but I see law as being a very creative profession anyway, and I think that's why you find so many lawyers doing other things, because it just attracts creative people.
Okay.
But I enjoyed being a lawyer. I wouldn't mind doing it again one day, but I'm very happy with doing what I do now.
Wonderful. Okay, let's get back to Malaysian food a little bit. Now, with Malaysian food, do you think that Malaysia does enough for its brand? Because with, you see with Thai food, with Vietnamese, with Japanese, it's got a very distinct flavour, very distinct brand. You know immediately which country it comes from. But Malaysia, it's slightly more of a fusion, do you think? Do you think we've done enough?
It's always difficult with, I guess, a fusion cuisine, only in that it's broader than others. You know, no one would ever doubt that Malaysian food is delicious in almost every respect. But it's always hard, I guess, branding. You go into any branding exercise over whether it's, you know, clothing or food or anything. It's always trying to distill it down to one thing, and Malaysian food is so broad, it's very difficult to distill it down to one thing. And frankly, I don't think it should be, you know. Malaysian food is starting to become extremely popular all around the world. You know, even in Australia now, you have people lining up down the street 200 metres every night to eat roti canai, which is...
Do you feel that there's sometimes the lines are blurred between, say, Malaysian food with Singaporean food? It's sometimes packaged under the same umbrella, isn't it? Malaysian, Singaporean, Indonesian even sometimes.
Yes, of course, you know. You don't have to go too far back in history when it was all just one place. So it's... Food is always a source of national pride, but it can be an inclusive source. You know, my father is Hainanese. I come from a Hainanese background, and the number of arguments that people get into about whether Hainanese chicken rice is from Malaysia or Singapore.
That's true.
It just ignores the fact that it's delicious anyway, and who cares who made it first.
Fair enough. Okay, just to wrap up, Adam, if you could invite 3 people to a dinner party that you're throwing, who would it be? Dead or alive?
Oh, wow. This is always the most difficult question because it's hard to put context around it, you know. It depends on whether I want to... Am I cooking or is someone else cooking?
You're cooking.
I'm
Who would
cooking.
you like to serve? Yeah.
Oh, I just serve my family then. They're the easiest people to keep happy.
Okay, fair enough. So just keep it within the family.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for speaking with us today, Adam. It's
Thanks,
been a pleasure.
Melisa.
All right.